Well guys, welcome back to Red River Living. Today we're out working in the garden, getting some stuff prepped. We got a guy coming in just a few minutes, going to do some tilling for us. I don't have a garden tiller yet, but I do have some friends that have a tractor with a tiller, so he's going to come out and do some work for me in just a little bit. But what you can see right before me is some onions. These are what you call like bunch onions. I brought the seeds back from these from Mississippi. My uncle told me, he said, if you'd go home and plant those, he said, you'd never need green onions again. So I brought like a handful. When I say handful, I mean, I might have had 5 or 6 seeds when I first started. Well, I just come out here in the yard and planted those and just kind of babied them for a little bit. And as you can tell, they've just exploded. And I haven't dug these up yet. These are probably going to leave this year. I'm probably not going to have them out here in the yard. But they are going to seed. See the pod putting on right here? They'll seed out. And then you can take and plant those. But these onions here, I've dug up last year and moved them to my garden. And before the guy gets here with the tiller, I started digging these already. We're going to go over here and look at what I've dug up. And I'm just going to transplant them back into the garden and let them, they just multiply. So it's one of them things you ought to have around the house. You always got green onions if you have these around the house. And they're not hard to maintain. Like I said, I've just let these live out here in the yard for the past 2 years and just water them a little bit. And as you can tell, they're multiplying just sitting right here. We'll go over here to the garden and I'll show you what we got going on over here. So as you can see out here in the garden, these onions just multiply. And what I'm doing right now is I'm just going to dig them up. I'll probably give some of these away. I may even see if Brady, if they want some onions, I'll probably give Brady some of them to take back to Oklahoma if he wants to. But I'm just getting them out of the garden right now. I'm throwing them into these tubs. I've already filled one of these tubs plumb full of these already. So, hey, it's one of them things, they just keep multiplying. So we really got more than we could ever eat. But hey, these have made it through the winter. I forget how cold we got this winter, but we got super cold. And as you can tell, if you needed green onions, they just come out in the garden and pull some. And I'll just kind of show you a little bit here. You just see how they multiply. I mean, there's 2, 4, 5. There's 10 onions just right there. And I didn't plant nowhere near this amount of onions out here. They just, hey, they just do. And as far as taking care of them, there hasn't been any maintenance to take care of them. I've just let them grow out here. I hadn't done nothing with them. After we get the garden tilled up today, I'll just come out here and get some of these, and basically I'll just plant them in a row, 2 different rows, and let them multiply again for next year. You want help? All right, shake the dirt off. Let's shake them off real good. Well guys, as you can tell, Brady's back here in the background. He's unloading the tractor and fixing to bring it in here. And we're about to till the garden up. We had plastic down over 3/4 of the garden. Debbie and I got out here yesterday, got the plastic pulled up. So now we're about to till it up. Hopefully with the tractor this year, we're going to get the garden a lot leveler than it was last year. Last year I had it pretty uneven. I dissed it, so it was pretty uneven last year. Well, as you can tell, Brady's finished up. The garden has tilled up now. And if you can, as Jared's standing back here behind me, if you can't tell, it really looks nice. Last year I had the tractor out here. Of course, last year was the first year that we broke this garden space up. And I had the tractor in here with the disc. And the disc broke the ground up really well. But that garden tiller on the backside of a tractor, I mean, it really tilled it up nice. And we've got this sandy loam dirt, so it just tills up really fine. It's really good dirt to garden in, to be honest with you. We haven't had to do a whole lot of amendments to the soil. The soil's really in fairly good shape. Our pH may be a little bit off, but the garden really did well here last year. And as you can tell with the tiller did a really fine job. And we didn't time this to see how long it took, but it's a 5-foot tiller, so in a matter of about 30 minutes we've got our garden tilled up, and it really looks good. Well, as you can tell by looking out around the garden, we are greening up really quick here. We're at the end of March, so we're right at the 1st of April. We still have a chance that we could see some frost, some freezing weather. Our pecan trees, everybody said the mesquites aren't budding yet, and some people talk about the pecan trees ain't budded yet, so we still could freeze. But we're fixing to start planting a few things here in the garden. We'll be taking y'all through that, so this is going to be a series from we've got it tilled up to some of our planting. I think the next thing we've got going on, we're going to probably start trying to get ready for our potatoes and our corn. We're going to do our watering system a little bit different this year. As far as our watering went, it went really well last year, but we're going to probably try to outline the garden this year with some things me and Debbie and I got to talk about on our watering. We've learned a lot from last year on our watering, so we're going to try to expand on that this year. We still got to get our paper down. The paper really was a success last year. I was told that we'd get too hot here and probably stuff would burn up on this black paper. But really and truly, our paper did really well. We grew our melons on it, our peppers. We had some tomatoes on it, our squash. We even had our okra on the paper. So a lot of the paper went really well. So if anybody's wondering if it gets too hot on it, we didn't last year, and we were really hot and dry. So we're going to still be using the paper. The paper saved a lot of work. Where I didn't have paper, I had to do a lot of hoeing. I didn't mind it. I kind of enjoyed it. It was a time to get out and it was peace and quiet. So I didn't mind doing some of the hoeing. But as you can tell, we have about a 50 by 100 spot tilled up here. So for me to hoe it all, that would be a lot of work. I did notice one thing already though from when we tilled this. I could tell where the paper was at and where the paper wasn't. In that, by I mean, we had some wind erosion. So that'll be a reason to keep paper down and around our garden. We're going to try to keep me from mowing so much in it. So you'll probably see us trying to do some things to keep from mowing. If you'll kind of span back over here, Jared, I'll kind of show you. We've gotten this here's our garlic that we've put in some raised beds. They're pretty easy to maintain here. And we've gotten some mulch from a local tree guy that was mulching some trees up. So I had a load of that dumped. You're going to see us mulching around some of these beds like this to try to cut down on the grass. I had a lot of work on grass last year. So that's one of the things we'll be working with this year, trying to eliminate some of my extra work. Here you can see in one of our raised beds, Debbie's planted her some strawberries. There's a lot of green in here. We had some freezing weather after these strawberries were planted, and I had some wheat straw that we'd been feeding the cows as a filler. And I went out to the wheat straw pile and just grabbed a bunch of wheat and come in here and covered all our strawberries up and stuff. I didn't want them freezing. Well, that wheat straw had a lot of wheat seed in it, and as you can tell, we're having to pick through this and clean it up. But our strawberries are really looking good though. Big seeds and the plants will be there. See that? And I'm not sure if y'all can tell or not here, But right behind me here is one of our peach trees. As you can tell, we've got some blooms on it. It's leafing out pretty good. So hopefully we don't get any more freezing weather here on our peach trees. We've moved our peach trees and our plum trees inside our fenced in area. We're right here on the Red River. We deer hunt just right here behind the house. So that's one of the reasons our garden is fenced off the way it is to take care of the predators and keep them out of the garden. We've got hogs here, so in one night we wouldn't want to run into a disaster and walk out here and see where the hogs have gotten into the garden and rooted it up. Well, we'll be getting ready to plant our potatoes here. We're going to plant our potatoes and our corn. I got some prep work to do there. Well, as always, we'd appreciate it if y'all would like and subscribe to Red River Living, and we'll see y'all next time.